This is about to be a loaded episode, so buckle up, babes. We got a lot to cover. First and foremost, what we really need to talk about is getting better at vetting these men, because there are so many tiny little micro red flags that we overlook, that we think, you know what, it's fine. But those little tiny micro things will add up over time. When your man's cheats, there's probably so many things that have added up over time that you probably just overlooked. So let's talk about it. Tiny little pictures that he's liking on Instagram that he says to you, oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's literally just a picture. It's not that big of a deal. No cheating starts off as a full-blown affair. No cheating starts off as 0 to 100, okay? It's always those little micro things, like checking in with someone, hey, how you doing? Hitting that double tap of a like on a picture, double tap, multiple pictures at that point. And then all of a sudden they find themselves stumbling in, and then they justify it because in the beginning it really wasn't that big of a deal. Well, I'm here to say that if you're getting insecure about your man that you're dating or you're in a relationship with, it is so okay to not be okay with him liking other women's pictures on Instagram, but I think it goes a lot deeper than that. So let's hop into it. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I am your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives. Inside and outside of relationships, you guys, I kid you not, the better you feel, the better you attract. The more healed you become, the more healed of a relationship you'll attract into your life. I can actually guarantee this because I've seen this transformation in my own life. I've also seen it with a lot of my clients. So if you have ever wondered about coaching, we don't just cover dating, by the way. I say dating coaching, but I think a lot of it has to do with like your own self-esteem, handling your abandonment wounds, handling your anxious attachment, handling your overall being to become the best self so you can attract that relationship that your heart so desires. So if you are curious at all about coaching, please hit the stand link in my bio. I have so many different options that you can choose from, so just take a look. It's all on there. Also, if you've been watching this podcast for a while, please hit that 5-star rating, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode, and also leave that thumbs up wherever you're watching this. There's some kind of rating system. If you spread the love, I can actually guarantee that the love will come back around. It literally takes less than 2 seconds. Just like the guys that are liking those pictures on Instagram, just a little double tap, it takes less than 2 seconds, but for me, it means the world. If you could do that, that would be amazing. Also, guys, I'm back in America. I feel terrible right now. Not only am I getting sick, but I'm also had the worst stomach pains, like just from eating here. Our food is, I'm not even being dramatic, like so much pain. I'm so bloated. I really feel terrible, and I'm actually like trying to eat clean. I think maybe next episode I'll talk about all my solo traveling, and like if you have ever been curious about solo traveling and what that looks like, and you know, dating experiences abroad and different cultures and blah blah blah, I want to dive into it. I'm just kind of like trying to formulate a full plan on the episode. It's kind of all scattered right now. Today we are talking about so much, actually, just social media behavior in general, because I think there is so much that goes into this. There's so many little moving pieces that I want to talk about here. So breaking it down, when you're dating someone or you're in a relationship with someone, if you're okay with your guy liking women's pictures on Instagram, probably is not the video for you at all. I think this has to do a lot more when you do have a problem with it. Should you speak up for yourself? Should you say something? Is it too early to say something? Is it okay that you're having these feelings? My first relationship, this was the root of so many of our problems. Was he was always liking other women's pictures. He was following girls, not even just Instagram models necessarily. It was like girls that lived in the town. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with this. Like, that's not okay. One thing is always going to lead to another. There was obviously so many other problems in our relationship that needed to be addressed. It was not just the social media behavior, but it was just very evident because it was publicly posted online. If you are struggling and you're like, I don't like that he does this, it's making me feel insecure. I don't feel good about this. There's a couple things. We're going to break this up into different sections. First starters, you are uncomfortable having that conversation with him. Like, hey, I don't feel good that you're doing this. I feel really uncomfortable that you're liking all these women's pictures on Instagram. I don't feel good about it. If you're uncomfortable of having that conversation with him, the relationship is not as deep as you think it is. And you shouldn't even maybe be having that conversation, because if it's that early on and you feel like you have to, why are you doing this? Like, I can almost guarantee this is probably the situation that's happening, that he's gaslighting you into thinking that it's more serious than it actually is between the two of you, but then he can still do his thing on the side and be okay. But if you feel uncomfortable having a serious conversation with someone, you're not that serious with this person, because I can guarantee you the person that you are comfortable with, you're open with, that's the type of relationship that you want. Like, hey, this is bothering me. Not the ones that you feel like you have to hide because you're scared of what this person might think or what they might say, or what if they say, no, you're being crazy. You don't want to come off as a crazy girl. So if it is too early to have this conversation, it is not that serious. And maybe we should look into other areas that outside of social media, like why you're getting so insecure so quickly. I think at that point, it's more to do with a you thing. Why do these things bother you? Why are you scared to have the conversation? Is it just because you're scared of what he's going to say? Or is it just too early? And if it is just too early, why is it bothering you so much? So I think that there's a line between like just being insecure and making sure that you feel as a full person and cool and good within yourself. I think that's a huge aspect here, because I can guarantee you, me now feeling healed and feeling good within myself, almost guarantee if I was dating someone, first and foremost, actually, if I'm dating someone, I'm not dating the guy that is following a bunch of girls, Instagram models, following a bunch of bikini girls that are, very promiscuous online. I'm not dating that guy, first of all. On top of that, if it's just a normal guy and maybe has like here and there, he's liking different pictures, it's not going to bother me that he's liked another girl's picture. Like if it's a 1-2 situation, maybe it's a friend, whatever, it's not going to bother me. I think what it really comes down to is that I know that the next relationship that I go in, I'm going to feel secure in that relationship. I'm going to have to feel secure, or else I don't want to be with that person. And if you don't feel secure at the base core of your relationship, there's bigger red flags that are at play that you need to look at. That is this really going to stand the test of time? And I think a lot of times we get into these little situations and then we get so insecure and all of these things build up inside of us, but then we settle for this person that's like giving us this like, oh, well, he's going to go on and do his own thing and like all these women's pictures and do whatever he wants to do, but then he's still going to come back to you. And then at that point, is this something that you can actually tolerate in your relationship? If there was a situation where I was dating someone and we were good, most of the relationship was fine. Here and there, I saw him like maybe liking a specific girl's picture or like something, whatever. And I brought it up to him. The person that I want to be with is going to be like, oh my God, I really wasn't maybe thinking. It really didn't mean anything. I'll block them, I'll unfollow them, I'll do whatever. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable in this relationship and that I'm not causing you any anxiety or making you distrust the relationship between us. I just think that if it's not that serious, why not put some peace into the relationship? If he's as bought in as I would want in my life. Like if he's not bought in, he's gonna just be like, it's not that big of a deal. Why are you nagging me? I'm not gonna unfollow her. I'll have to think about if I want to unfollow this person. Like he's gonna give you a hard time if he's not fully bought in. And that's what happened in my first relationship. He always gave me a hard time. I'm like, if it's not that big of a deal, why not just unfollow them? But the thing is, like, it's these little minor things that add into something bigger, and something did actually end up happening. He, found this girl on Instagram that was, maybe he found her from somewhere else, I don't know, was in the area, and then ended up cheating with this girl. But it started something so small, so innocent and so small, but then eventually then the emotional piece comes in, and then the physical piece comes in, and it's these little tiny things that add up over time. If you feel secure in your relationship, these things aren't the main issue. You're not looking at social media as the problem. There's usually, if this is what you're looking at, there's usually a bigger problem behind the scenes that you're refusing to look at. Instead, you're zooming in so far into a small problem that maybe there's something bigger there. If you love the person that you're with, you know that they have your best interests at heart, you feel safe around them, these small things should not bother you. But if you're with someone who's making you feel insecure all the time, they're making you question the relationship, he's going off and doing sneaky things behind your back, and you have to question everything he does, pictures he's liking on Instagram are going to be so much bigger of a problem in your head because you're refusing to look at the big picture. What it comes down to, really, even before that, look at the type of person that he actually is. We need to start vetting these people before we even get into these relationships. I check this all the time, and usually I can tell before even going to their following list. And I'm not saying that you should be checking every single time, checking who they're following every single day, or checking the pictures that he's liked, because we know, we fucking know, we've all been there. You go to his following list, this is the girl that he's probably talking to. You know, we just know intuitively this is probably who he's talking to. But if you have to do that, there's a bigger problem at play. You don't trust him. Trust should be the foundation of any relationship, platonic or romantic. It doesn't matter. If you can't trust the person that you're surrounding yourself with, there's a bigger problem at play. Why is that person even in your life? You need to look at why you're allowing that behavior in your life, pointing the fingers like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Accept that person for who they are, because this is who they're showing you that they actually are. Pay attention to these things and stop pointing fingers, because they showed you their true colors. Day one, you just had to look at the evidence. Instead, you wanted to see what you wanted to see. You wanted this person to be who you wanted them to be. It's never going to be the case. I always, even though I feel like I pretty much can read the room at this point, I can call bullshit from a mile away, but I will always go, if I'm starting to talk to someone, I'll go through their following list, just a quick little couple swipes. I'm not zoning in on anyone, but I want to see what kind of accounts they follow, because the kinds of accounts they follow mean so much. Even if they're like, no, I know these people, it's fine. Like, cool if you know these people. I remember I talked to this guy a while ago, and he was so insecure. He sent me every single profile. He's like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Because he had a special little Instagram. Not everyone has this feature, by the way. He had the one where you can look at someone else's following in a chronological order of how much or when they follow that person. I don't have that luxury, but he had that luxury. And he went down. He's like, I noticed you went on a trip in this period of time. Who are all these people? Why did you follow them? Unfollow them. Like, literally telling me what to do. And I'm like, first of all, you're not my boyfriend. You're not going to tell me what to do. Some of these people are actually just friends. I've never had any romantic interest in them. You're acting crazy. Please stop. And at that point, I'm just like, I'm not dealing with this. And then he flipped it back on me, and I was like, okay, you want to do this? Which is so dumb, and I like probably wouldn't even give them the time of day now. But I went through their following, and then he's like, these are people I actually know. They follow me back. That's cool that you know them, but at the same time, that almost makes it worse, because there's all of these like bikini model, like, why do you know all these girls? It's giving a red flag. Okay, and obviously there's more red flags, that the insecurity, the him telling me to unfollow. There was so much more red flags than just that. But always go through their following. This is the quickest way to vet someone. What kind of accounts do they follow? I know the type of guy that I want to be with is motivational. He's open-minded. He's business-minded. He's family guy, like a wholesome man. Me going through his accounts, he's probably going to be following motivational speakers, business accounts. He's going to maybe some sports teams, whatever. Some just friends. He's not going to be following a shit ton of girls, because that's such a distraction. I think the more women that they're following, especially like very promiscuous women or like very, very, very gorgeous women, you're always going to feel like you're in competition, because he will never make you feel like you're enough in the relationship. He's always searching for the next best thing. It's always, I want something new. He's getting bored quickly about the beauty that's in front of him. Take a step back, zoom out for a second. If you're interested in a guy, before you even attach yourself to him, before you catch feelings for him, look at who he's following. Is this the type of guy that you want to invest in? If it doesn't bother you, by all means, who cares, right? But just know what you're getting yourself into. What we choose to follow online says a lot about us and where we're at in our lives. Just as a reminder, these things are constantly popping up on our feed. These are the types of things that their brain is seeing on a day-to-day. If it's tons of Instagram models in bikinis and promiscuous, be honest with yourself. He's probably not the type of guy that's going to want to settle down and get married tomorrow. He's probably going to be the type of guy that you want to have a short fling with. Fine, but then don't get your feelings attached. Know what you want and what you're getting yourself into and make decisions based off of that. If you're with someone, you're dating them, you're in a relationship, whatever, and they're liking a few pictures and it's bothering you and you want to have a conversation about it, fine, do it. I think that that's okay if you're open to having a conversation about it. If he has a problem with it, that's a red flag. If he changes, I think that there has to be some kind of line drawn. If he's unfollowing this girl, he's blocking her, whatever the case is, then does it stop there? If you're then saying, okay, well, now you have to unfollow all the girls from your account, and now I don't want you even looking at this girl on the sidewalk, and I don't even want to watch TV where there's a hot girl on the TV. Guys, I've been there, okay? My first relationship, I was a disaster. I was chaos. I was the worst nightmare of a girl that someone would want to be with, but I just think that I was young and dumb and naive and didn't know who I was and what I wanted, which I'm not saying that you are that person, but I've been there. I have been the type of person that if he even looked in a girl's direction, I would be clawing his arm like, what the fuck are you doing? Literally ready to get up out of my seat and fight a girl that she was doing nothing wrong besides being gorgeous. Now, I feel like I'm in such a secure place within myself. If I was with a guy and he first of all, the guys that I'm with, the guys that I am attracted to now, wouldn't even bother looking at other girls. But if I'm usually the type of person she is a bad bitch. She is fire. You're the one hyping other girls up because you feel secure within yourself. There is such a difference. And if he were to appreciate the beauty of another girl, it's yeah, she's hot, but I know at the end of the day, you chose to be with me, you're mine, and I know that you're not going to go off and cheat on me with someone else. The secureness that you feel within yourself, I think there has to be lines drawn. If this is small thing, if the relationship's great and everything's fine, but he just maybe likes some pictures and he puts a stop to it, he puts an end to it, where do you draw the line of the insecurity? Because if it's just that, fine. Let's put that aside. But if it goes on to I don't even want you looking in another girl's direction, you better blindfold yourself. I don't want to see you talking to another girl. That has so much more to do with you and healing yourself and feeling secure within yourself than it does him, because this is so unhealthy. And for the people that are doubting this, for me, going from that, the guys that are all about the fuckery, all interested in the girls that are flaunting it all online, which by the way, do your thing, who cares? If you're one of those girls, I'm not mad at you. But I'm no longer attracted to guys that only are entertaining that online. The type of guys that I am attracted to now, and I think the guy that I was talking to in Portugal really just set the bar for me, because we had a conversation about social media, and he's honestly, if I'm in a relationship, I don't even touch Instagram. I don't even want to place any doubt in my relationship. I don't post, I don't do anything. I want my person to feel so secure in the relationship, and he's just such a good guy, such a genuine soul that I'm I love that. That's so sweet. For me, I couldn't, because I have a whole full business online, but I love that a guy would step down from Instagram and no, I want you to feel good in the relationship. I don't care. There's nothing online that's good for me. There's no good that's going to come out of this. I was so secure when I was with him. I didn't even care to check who he's following. I didn't even care to check what pictures he's liking or what he's doing on the day-to-day. I never checked that because I always felt safe and secure with him. I was the only person that he was talking to. Guys, to the point where second date, he was by the way, I want to tell you this because I want to be very upfront and honest with you. At this point, I'm still living with my ex. She's moved on. She has another boyfriend, whatever. I wanted to let you know my situation. I'm actually moving out in a month. I allowed her to stay until she can figure it out. For him to be that honest up front, the type of person that I believe that him to be, of just being very, very genuine and sweet guy, very respectful. I didn't have a question in my mind that there was more going on there, that there was like something that I had to worry about. And if there is, whatever, like I trust him enough to see how things unfold. If there was a red flag that appeared that I needed to address, it's going to come to me. I'm not going to go out seeking it, because I do trust the process and who he is and what he's telling me. At the end of the day, if you can't trust a soul, that has so much bigger of a reflection on what needs to be healed in within you. And then I also think that you're with someone that you genuinely just can't trust. Look at those things. Do you really want to end up in a situation where you end up settling for the person that you can't trust, and then years go down and you're kind of like, well, you know, I'm just going to keep on going with this. And then all of a sudden you guys accidentally have a kid. And then all of a sudden you guys are like, well, let's just stay together for the kid. It becomes this 20-year long relationship where you guys are both miserable. Neither of you felt like this was your person. Both of you felt like you settled. Do you really want that? Or do you want the person by your side that's going to make you happy, that you can trust, that your heart's at ease, that you feel comfortable and safe with? It is so much bigger than just liking a photo on Instagram. Take that all into consideration. I just word vomited. I really just spoke from my soul, you guys. I really didn't go off of any notes today. Yeah, I hope it brought some kind of clarity, some kind of value to your life. And if it did, please, again, leave that 5-star rating, leave that thumbs up. I love you all. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you all next week.